Here's my review of Ready or Not 2 Here I Come. I had a really fun time with this movie. Personally, I enjoyed it more than the first movie, but maybe that's just because, this movie is a lot more faster paced. Because with the first movie, they obviously had. I only watched the first movie for the first time a few days ago before I went to watch this movie. And with that, obviously, they have to set up a lot more. It's much more of a slow burn until the reveal of what's really going on with these people, like these devil worshippers hunting you. But because with this second movie, we already know what's going on, they're able to basically get right into the action. Like this movie literally takes place right at the ending. Picks up right at the ending of the first one of her passing out, and then she goes into an ambulance. And I really liked the whole ambulance transition scene, like the POV from her the gurney raising up, then her being transported into the ambulance. It's just really good, and we see how Grace doesn't really know what's going on until she meets up with her estranged sister. And it's really the dynamic, I think, between Grace and Faith that really just give this movie a lot more heart, because they are talking about, because for a big part, Faith is mad at her sister, saying, well, why'd you abandon me? And there's a lot of tension between the two of them until they're forced to work together, which I thought was very, a beautiful, basically interaction, and it just added to this movie. And yes, this movie is extremely over the top in its gore, and it's because if you saw the first movie, obviously, and you remember what happens and then exploding, once we know that, it just kind of puts us on a ticking clock, which is just really fun. And it's interesting because we find out that all these powerful families, they didn't expect Grace to survive, and because of that, it triggers a new game. And the main leader here, the main person in charge of these games, played by Elijah Wood, and he's kind of just the lawyer explaining the rules, but he's so good in this movie. He is he's so good at just explaining all the so very calm and calculating, and it just makes this whole episode or this whole movie just feel at least when he's in it, just uneasy, but very fun. And I think once they are actually knocked out, once they're placed across this mansion on this estate and waking up in handcuffs, it allows for each little section of this movie to feel like there's a new task they have to do. Because for a big part of this movie, it feels like they're in handcuffs and they just have to work together to get out while they're still being hunted down to be killed. And I really love how they'll use the environment around it. They're on this big estate and they're in this place where they could use a mechanical machine to wear down the metal as well, and then crunch it and break it apart, so then they're free. And the deaths in this movie are just brutal. If you've seen it, you know what I'm talking about. And this guy, when he gets basically trapped in a washing machine, it just gets crazy of just him spinning around until it's just blood, and then he comes out. It's crazy. And Sarah Michelle Gellar is also great in this movie as one of the hunters, her and her husband. She's awesome. She's kind of just so despicable in this movie that all these characters are, but it's you just love to hate them. It just makes it so much fun. To me, what I think that this movie, what I really liked about this movie and why I preferred it over the first one, is I think maybe some other people would be a reason why some other people won't like it as much. And this movie is just bigger. It's got a bigger budget. It's gorier, more kills, more characters, and it's faster. And I think what some people would maybe not like is maybe they liked that kind of slow burn of the first movie, which as the first movie I still liked, but I feel because I feel a lot of that movie kind of is just built up based on the big reveal at the end. I liked it, but I didn't love it. But with this movie, because we already know what's going to happen, they don't they're allowed to basically get right into the games, which makes it more fun. It makes those stakes just bigger. And although this is like a horror movie, it's really not at all scary. It's much more of like intense. It's about the action that is there because we know that it's a lot of them are just Grace and Faith running from these hunters. But I just think it is done very well because I think that the dynamic between Grace and Faith is really beautiful because it's about these sisters really like core of this movie is about these sisters reconnecting in many ways. And there are moments where like they're arguing a lot, but there are moments where like they run away from each other. Like Faith leaves, and you know what? She comes back, and it's just in time to save her sister. And I think that it just adds a whole extra layer of just heart to this movie that makes it more emotional. It makes the stakes feel higher because the characters feel more fleshed out, which I just really liked. I think that in many ways, like a lot of I have some people said it's kind of just the first movie again. And I mean, yeah, it's very similar plot. I mean, but at the same time, if it's more of the same but still good, I mean, that's not necessarily a bad thing. And personally, like I said, I enjoyed it more because it's bigger. There there's more kills, there's more violence, more characters, and I like I said, I think especially just like that dynamic between Grace and Faith, it added just a lot more heart to the movie outside of it just being mindless gore and action, because it's not. We have something that we care about and we want to see these sisters survive. I just found this to be a very entertaining movie. Is this the best movie of the year? No, but I think as of now, I would definitely put it in my top 5. It's a very solid movie. The action is so much fun. The kills are so over the top. And I love the fast-paced pacing of it because, yes, it doesn't make this movie overstay its welcome, but it also ups the intensity because we get straight into the games. It feels scarier. It feels more intense because it feels like we're with these characters. Like as soon as they start running, we're like, okay, this is happening. And because of just the fast pace, it just works. And I will say that I thought that like both the performances from Samara Weaving and Catherine Newton, I think that they were both great. I know some people have been kind of hating. I've seen some people kind of hate on Catherine Newton lately, maybe because of like Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, which is a movie I never watched because I thought it looked terrible, and I'm glad I never watched it. But I mean, of the things that I've seen her in, like Freaky, Lisa Frankenstein, and now this movie, I think like she's turned into a very good actress. I really enjoyed her in this movie. And of course, Samara Weaving is great as well. So yeah, overall, I had a blast with this movie. It is bigger. In my opinion, it's better. And yeah, it's just a blast of a movie. I think that the performance is great. The kills are awesome. And it's just so intense. And it just gets going. And yeah, I'm kind of just repeating myself. So at the end of the day, hey, I had a really fun time with it.